Hey, Rise and Thrivers. Welcome to our 1 hour edition. Oh, our music is playing in the background. This is like a day. I don't know what's happening. All right. We are having like some fun technical audio and social media editions. But hello. Welcome to Rise and Thrive, our 1 hour edition, December 18th, 2023. My name is Regina Rossi. I am one of your co-hosts of Rise and Thrive Together, and we are waiting for the extraordinary sister from another mister, my partner in crime, Dr. Raquel Stuart. So before we get into this evening, I want to tell you a little bit about Rise and Thrive, just in case you don't know who we are yet. We are Rise and Thrive Together. We are a vibrant community committed to educating, equipping, and empowering you to get the results that you want through real talk, real actions, and real results. So I want to just tell you, tonight is the special 1 hour edition, and next Monday night will be our final edition of the 2023 year of Rise and Thrive Together. It's been an honor and a pleasure to start this journey with all of you, to have these conversations that are so important for our lives, for our mind, for our body, and for our soul. Now, tonight is a 1 hour edition. We are talking about decluttering your life. We are right in the midst of this holiday season. We are a few days away from Christmas and the new year. And I don't know about you, but I'm even feeling it right now about how much is happening all at once. And to remind you, 100,000 thoughts go on in our mind a day. So how can we live our lives really powerfully? We're going to have this conversation called Decluttering Your Life. And it is not just going to be with me. It's not going to be with myself and Raquel. It's going to be with 4 extraordinary guests this evening. And we are going to have that on in a second. But guess what I found out? Breaking news. Here we go. Dun, 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 dun. Raquel is here. Let's bring her on. Let's bring her on. Please bring her in. Woohoo! Raquel,
hey everyone. Can you guys hear me?
We can hear you great, sis. So beautiful to see your face.
That might be a problem if y'all can hear me. But so good to be here. I am having some issues, but nonetheless, super excited to be here with my sister and our panelists. I'm excited to hear what they have to say about decluttering your life.
Awesome. It's going to be a special night. So anything you want to say before we get to talk about these amazing guests and bring them on?
Heck no, I want to hear what they have to say. I have been waiting for this all week and it's only Monday. But it feels like it's a Thursday already for me.
Awesome.
But I am here and I'm ready.
All right. So I'm going to start off, sis, by introducing Andres Martinez. So let me tell you about this extraordinary man that I've had the pleasure 1 year ago today to get to know him in this amazing community of leadership development and empowerment. Andres is a amazing veteran who spends his time committed to helping veterans live the life that they want powerfully. He has dealt with helping them resolve depression, anxiety, PTSD, and suicide. They're just a handful of the mental hurdles our vets have to overcome. And he's decided to dedicate the rest of his life to ensuring that someday within his lifetime, this number drops to 0. He has this radical mind shift was the stimulus that preceded the intense life decisions that followed. And it started with a clean diet. He realized he needed to work out in the body in order to strengthen his mind. He sought out new careers and working with ICS, NASCAR, and DirecTV and Wyndham Vacation Ownership. And most recently, he has worked with a local painting company as their operations manager. And being laid off due to COVID-19, he was set on a new course, achieving certifications as a life coach and a holistic lifestyle coach. In this way, he was able to use his personal life and experiences to help people reach his or her own highest potential. And we are so excited that he really spends his life with Heroes Hope Networks, which becomes a key component into his story as he began his life optimization coaching for the nonprofit, providing mentorship and creating coaching opportunities for veterans and first responders. Hello, Andres.
Hey, what's up, man? Thank you so much, Regina, and your patience too. I was having some issues earlier as well, so it's okay. It happens, but I'm glad to be here, and I'm so thankful that you even thought of me to participate today. I'm really looking forward to being here.
Well, welcome, and I'm so happy for you to finally meet my sister Raquel. Raquel, here is the amazing Andres.
Hi, Raquel.
How are you?
Good.
Nice to meet you.
I'm so excited to be here with you ladies, and we have a great panel. I think we have a great discussion, and I'm really looking forward to sharing some ideas tonight.
All right.
Awesome.
Sis, you want to drop the next person?
Sure. Since you introduced a male, I guess I will introduce a female.
Sure.
I want to introduce to you Blanca Irene Perper Greenstein. She is the founder of Laws of Life, a company dedicated to empowering and energizing individuals through media and entertainment solutions. She is also the president of Laws of Life Television Network, has a Laws of Life Roku channel, and digital marketing agency. Blanca has been a lawyer for 28 years and served as a trial lawyer, voted Lawyer of the Year at the Public Defender's Office, head of litigation for a publicly traded corporation, and is also an inventor of a fully patented custom-built email management program called Ingate, which she invented to process high volumes of corporate email. Blanca's true calling, however, is to produce television shows on a variety of topics and educate and empower her audience. She currently serves as Director of Litigation for the major Paruas law firm and practices in the areas of civil litigation, personal injury, divorce, and contract law. Blanca also believes in the power of networking and also hosts a weekly networking event attended by business owners nationwide. She is a superior public speaker that fires up her audience and motivates her listeners to be the best person they can possibly be. Blanca is a force to be reckoned with and appears as a speaker at events worldwide. Hello, Blanca.
Hello. So good to see everybody.
Oh,
welcome
to Rise and Thrive.
Thanks for having me. Such an honor to be here.
Awesome. Right. And just to give the audience a little heads up, Blanca is the reason why this show is happening. It is going to her amazing networking that got me fired up to speak to my sister and say, yo, we're going to go from podcast to live talk show. And here it is on all of our major channels, including Raquel. Tonight, we're on our Instagram. We are hit Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, and on top of it, Roku, Laws of Life with Blanca with 50,000 subscribers. So we are kicking it up for all of you. I'm so excited, Blanca, to have you here. And we're going to continue this extraordinary, fun introduction to the one and only Dr. Dan hitting the stage for his third time at Laws of Life. Well, it is Laws of Life, but with Rise and Thrive together. Dr. Dan is back in the house dropping his nuggets. He is the founder of Orcanit Wellness and Chi. Up Academy is your gateway to natural wellness in Chinese medicine, renowned as a keynote speaker and I'm going to kill this word, Qigong, right? Instructor and clinical doctor. He shares profound insights into Chinese medicine, balanced living through engaging talks, treatments, and workshops. He is dedicated to spreading naturopathic healing and deepening wellness knowledge for the people who pursue freedom from pain and sickness. Remember this, if you can smile, you can heal. Welcome, Dr. Dan.
Everybody, it's great to be here.
Excited. It's been so long since we've seen you, Dan. What's it been, like 7 days?
Oh, just
Thanks for being here all the way from your Cali, right?
Yep.
The Bay Area.
Yeah. All right. He's having some kind of one of those like robotic, cool like breakdowns. So if you might see him a little pixelated, it's just because he's that powerful. All right. And sis, bring it home to our
Next up
final.
is our final panelist, Miss Patrice Reynolds. Hey, that is my sister, another sister. Patrice is a native of the DMV area, Washington, D.C. She relocated to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina in 2012 with her late husband, Charles Pate. Patrice is, are y'all ready? A songwriter for signed artists with Universal Records and professional vocalist, recording artist who has vocal credits, Living Water, for the Gladys Knight album, Many Different Roads. Patrice has written and produced music Stellar Award winners and recorded her first solo project, Never Thirst, in 2005 with music producer and musicians to Eric Clapton and Tim Carmen. As an independent theatrical playwright, Patrice writes, produces, and directs hit stage plays such as Love Forgotten, with special appearances by celebrity artist Marvin Winans Jr. Patrice is currently the owner and is artistic lead at her own Dream House Theater in North Myrtle Beach. She is also the co-founder of ESA Dream Foundation, a nonprofit organization that funds and supports theatrical events and underserved athletes. Patrice advocates for diversity in theater in Myrtle Beach and also sits on the board at Greater Vision of Horry County for the past 7 years. Hey, Patrice, welcome to Rise and Thrive Together.
Hello. How's everyone?
Great.
Awesome.
I am so excited to see your face, Patrice, like in person, hear your voice. I've heard so much about you through Raquel, and now, I loved what she said about you. And now to hear that, people know that I'm this lame person to say I'm eventually going to get my album out. And now, Rock, you brought it up for me. I'm like, Patrice, we're going to have a conversation. My I Am Home album is going to drop, guys, 2024. That's my commitment. Patrice and I are going to chit chat. And I promise Raquel that the song is going to be our new opening and closing of our show for 2024. And we just lost your beautiful face again, Rock. You kind of went off camera.
Oh, my bad.
I'm back. All right, people.
Just when you thought I was gone.
I love it. So super psyched to have you all. This is now the time where we get 2 male perspectives and 2 female, well, 4, to be honest, Raquel, mine and yours as well.
No, I'm strictly moderating today.
She's moderating. But thank you for being here. Thank you so much. Let's just get straight into this. Sis, you take it off. She has put this together and prepared it for decluttering your life as she declutters her face on and off.
No, don't mind my face being missing. As long as you guys can hear me, it's all good. I do want to say something on decluttering before moving forward with the panelists and answering questions and all that good stuff and dropping nuggets. I need to say that everyone, every single one of us listening, every single one of us watching, we have an area of our life that we need to declutter. And sometimes we have to declutter several times. It's not just a one and done. This is something that we work on continuously. Okay, so I just needed to put that out there. Now, that being said, and sis, I'll let you decide who starts this question. Why is decluttering important in personal growth and well-being? I'm just jumping right on into it.
I love it. I'm going to say,
let me know if you need the question again.
Yeah, let's, I'll type it in. Let's have the women start. And I'm interested in Blanca answering that question. Why is decluttering important in personal growth and well-being? And everybody else watching, please put your answers in as well.
It's one of the most difficult things to do, but it's really, really important. You have to make decluttering a practice, right? So one of the things, just watching lots of coaches along the years, like Grant Cardone and many other coaches, simple little practices and habits build into long-term discipline and fulfillment. So, like, for example, just waking up and making my bed in the morning, just wiping the sink, just the little thing, just putting the dishes in the dishwasher, emptying the sink, leaving my apartment clean. So when I come home at night, my apartment is nice for me, going into the office. That's really the hard one, man. Keeping the office clean. I can't function when I have a million papers around me. But the truth is, I'm really old school, and I love to keep written notes of every conversation. I just find I'm a more active listener when I write notes. So I bought notebooks, and the notebooks help keep the papers from flying everywhere. So yeah, I mean, keeping the office and the home clean helps the mind be clean, helps everything be calmer, it reduces anxiety, and I think you're going to be more productive, more efficient, more peaceful, and you're just going to be more excited about your day. The more beautiful your surrounding is, the more confident you're going to be. So it's definitely something that, I'm not perfect. I don't think anybody is, but I think we do the best that we can and just build those little habits along the way and just do the very best we can. Just don't beat yourself up when you mess up.
Nice.
I like that. Don't beat yourself up when you mess up, because guess what, y'all gonna mess up. And it's all good. The key is not to beat yourself up, but know that you will mess up. It's expected. Just is. That's part of life. Since the ladies are starting, Patrice, you need me to read the question again?
No, I've lived it every day. So to me, really quick and short is cluttering affects your mental state. Clutter does. It always, for me, starts from the inside out. And number one is what I see. When I see my house, I call it coming at me, or my bedroom coming at me. I used to tell a friend of mine that, okay, the room is coming at me, which means it's time to get some stuff in order. But it's a mental state. It starts, that's the foundation, because what you see affects how you think. Because while we're human and we're in these bodies peering out of these eyes, so basically that my answer would definitely be because it's a mental state. And in order to think about my well-being and my being productive, it starts all here. So if, like Bianca was talking about, if all things are clear, you tend to think better. You tend to focus better when things are either in a certain order or organized.
You guys make a really great point. You ladies make a really great point. And I find that when my little desk is super cluttered, I absolutely cannot get anything done. I feel like I'm just sitting and living in squalor and mess, and that makes me so unproductive. So you guys really hit a good point with that. So I appreciate that. Sis, which gentleman do we start with?
I am curious. I've heard Dr. Dan so many times. I love you, Dr. Dan. I'm going to leave you at the end. I've not heard from my beautiful friend, Andres. Andres, why? What is so important about decluttering? Why is that important in your well-being and personally in your growth?
I think that for me, when I declutter things and I organize things and put them in their place, I feel a little bit lighter. I kind of don't carry maybe I'm not carrying that extra weight, right? From carrying all these things that are unnecessary, right? Because clutter are things that you no longer use most of the time, right? Or they're not put in their place. So once you organize things and maybe you donate some things or you give away some things or you put it out for curb alert, I feel like it always makes you a little bit lighter. So I think that when you feel a certain way about yourself and you remove the things that no longer serve you out of your life, you make room for new things, and you make room for maybe things that could potentially help you later on. So that's the way I look at it. Everyone is right. Everyone has had like the little nugget, and I just want to add to it that really and truly, what you have when you declutter, for me, is I feel a little bit lighter. I feel a little bit more at ease. I feel better that everything is where it needs to be, and I can focus on whatever I need to focus on to next, right? And so I think at this time of year, right, this is the time to kind of go through that closet, right? Donate those clothes that maybe don't fit, or they don't fit the way you wanted it to, right? Or take out maybe that thing that kind of works. Maybe the vacuum kind of works, right? All right, well, maybe it's time to upgrade and get something better for yourself if you're able to. So put it on Curb Alert. Let someone else use it. So sometimes for me, that's the way I kind of take the conversation of decluttering. How do I feel after I do it? And if it gives me a sense of peace and it takes off some of that heaviness out of my life, maybe that extra weight, then let it go. It no longer serves me, so let it go, and then keep it moving.
Nice. Susan Schaefer put a great post that everything has energy. Decluttering clears the amount of random energy and distraction from my space.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Dr.
Nice.
Dan, I know Reg put you last, but that's all right. Bring it home
Because
for
he
us,
drops
Dr.
it. He
Dan.
drops the mic. He drops the mic. He's like, boom.
Signs done. And it's our task that our attention is distracted, and what that was, and when we have less things to do today, we're able to be more efficient, energy, or more impact the things that we do. And so we like cleaning our mental space. I'm very conscious, and big moves. I would always hear of and foul. What objects have that emotion are with me and letting go? I started using principle and find that in my practice. So to let go of like energy, sickness, or being able to my day, my personal life, in the clinic, so I can tackle with myself, so better putting our best self and blocks. So to take inventory of thinking too.
Wow. Well, dang.
Anybody else have something to say?
Dan, you're
around
going to
that?
stop leaving us speechless now. You're going to cut that mess out, okay? I'm just saying. Anything? That's why next time you're going first.
Dr. Dan, I'm going to ask you to possibly go off video if you're speaking, because some of our audience has been texting me and seeing that it's really cutting out with everything. So let's see if we can. I want you to speak so everybody can hear you clearly. We might go off video the next time you speak. We'll see how that works. But I think it goes perfectly what Susan said. Really what you said is really about that energy, right? That energy and that attraction. Like we have something and it reminds us what hasn't been done or why it hasn't been done. And then we start to like kind of like let go of that, right? Let go of that emotional like piece of it and say, is this really serving me? Or is this really, not serving me? And then we can let that go with more of peace of mind. I love that. I don't really, that served a lot for me, because there's a lot of times I take things and I just throw it away and then I get upset about it because I realize I'm still very attached to it. I'm still very, very attached to it. So I've got to like kind of go, it's not serving me. Have a nice day.
Yeah.
I love that. Awesome. All right. You ready for the next question, sis?
Waiting on you.
All right. Question number 2, and you take it to the next one. We got, what are the key benefits of physically decluttering our spaces? I know we got into that, but let's go a little bit deeper because we're kind of cutting the surface. So give me some key benefits of physically decluttering our spaces. Blanca, you shared a little bit about her office, right? So let's see.
Sure. You want me to go next, or? Yes.
Sure, go for it.
Well, basically, I mean, I think the true effect is a reduction of anxiety. And I think that when your space is organized, you are going to have less anxiety. And I think the more organized and the less clutter that surrounds you. And then the key, I find after I declutter, then the thoughts, the vision starts to flow to me even more. And I start to my mind begins to open, and I start to create a list of what now needs to be done, because the clutter clogs the vision. So shout out, of course, to our king of vision, Johnny Regan, right? So we want the vision to be clear, and that's how we have to create it, is by eliminating the clutter. And so we think best when the clutter is clear. And I think that the heart rate is probably calmer, and we sleep better. When my room is cleaner, I sleep better. I feel less guilt, less remorse. I have a Jewish mother, and she's in heaven, but she still says, "Why is there dirt on the floor? Go sweep the floor. What's the matter with you?" Okay. So all of these things, emotional, physical, mental, there is no downside to declutter. There's only up. You cannot find a con to decluttering. You can't. And it costs you nothing. It costs you nothing to clean, and it only brings peace and solitude. So I'm all for it. And I think this is a great, amazing, empowering topic.
Awesome. All right. Patrice, what do you got to say about that? Can we hear you, Patrice?
The first thing I think about when it gets to the physical aspect, can you guys hear me?
Oh, you're breaking up, Patrice. We can't hear you. Yeah, we can't hear you. Try to go off video and see what happens.
Reconnect.
All right. While we wait for Patrice to reconnect, let's go have Andres take it down to what you got to say about this.
Yeah, I feel like this is a great time to share like a small practice that I have when I do the decluttering, right? Because it's an active thing, right? It's something that you should just constantly be aware of. And if things are out of place, when you have kids, right? I have usually 2 to 3 kids somewhere in the house. And if you know anything about kids, they're just going to leave their stuff everywhere, right? And so the idea is to instill it in them and also lead by example. But then part of the practice is once I'm done decluttering and I feel good, I actually like to open up doors and windows and let the air flow. Maybe I'll put in on incense, sometimes maybe some sage or some copal or something like that to kind of really clear the energy out of the space and really clear the space for what it is. And that's kind of like one of the things that I feel like it helps physically, right? Is not only is it clear for me and the house looks good, my room is made up, the bed is done, my office looks a certain way, things are where they're supposed to be. Then I like to get that fresh air flowing after that. And then from there, maybe something like sage or something like that to really kind of set the tone for whatever I'm about to do next, right? And so physically, like going back to what Blanca was saying, which is, you feel that easiness, you feel that calmness. So being able to just stack upon that, right? And so you do the decluttering, you get it to a certain point. So what do you do next, right? And so instead of jumping into the next right thing, I take an extra moment, maybe an extra deep breath, maybe like that extra time to just create the tone and set the tone for what the rest of the day is going to look like. And that's the way I kind of see it. So that's how I feel like it can help physically, because not only is the mind now being at ease, physically you already move things around and put them in their place. Now let's kind of set the tone and kind of reset, right? It's never too late to reset in the day, I feel, right? At any moment you can say, I'm going to reset my day, right? It could be 5 o'clock and you're running late for dinner, but as soon as you start making dinner and you get in the groove of things, you're like, okay, let's make it happen. Let's do it right. You can reset your day at any moment. And I feel like you can declutter also at any moment. It doesn't have to be at a certain time of day or anything.
I love that.
Wow.
You just reminded me of when the kids were little. I used to make them a little cubby with a little Windex and a little broom, and I would give them their own cleaning kit and have them
Oh,
clean.
that's nice. I love that. My 7-year-old would really like that, a cleaning kit.
Yeah.
Would your 7-year-old really like it?
Yeah.
Oh,
and like,
she loves
let
it.
them decorate it.
No, she'll be like, if my bed isn't made, because I usually make my bed every day, but she doesn't. She's like, Daddy, can I make your bed? Okay, honey, go for it. You know what I'm saying? I think she'd be down with the cleaning kit idea. That's a good one.
Yeah,
I love it, Blanca, and
decorate
Lexi
it
loves
with
it.
stickers. Yeah.
Lexi loves it. And now we're going to decorate it because she likes to clean the toilets and stuff. So I love it.
Oh, so
Love it.
Dr. Dan, what's your take?
Well, yeah, I like a nice organized space. Between my productivity is organized and versus from or days. It's when I come from a long, I made bed. Feel like tonight I'm half asleep. I'm gonna wake up versus or you know, just there's the effort that you place. So you are on your probably since being made outside in the personal life or out world. So
Wow.
and the physical more you can have a spontaneous dance party on the floor. You know, it's the opportunity is always present when you have a clean order.
Wow.
You know,
You know,
like
and
what
I
Dr.
just
Dan said
look at
earlier,
my made bed as a made bed, but okay. I like that
Yeah.
though, Dan.
Yeah, I really like what Dr. Dan said earlier. Is like when you have a lot of clutter, let's say, it's easy to trip over things, and I really like that. That's really well said, because it's true. You know, that was a good point, Doctor.
So let me throw something out into the air, because Andreas brings up a good point, and it leads me to believe, are we only talking about physical things? Can we trip over things that we cannot physically see? Is that possible? And I'm not talking about hallucinations.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yes.
Okay, we gonna get there. We gonna get there.
Oh, yes.
We just hold my question and hold your response, because we're gonna get there. All of this physical stuff is awesome, but damn, I be tripping over some stuff that I can't even see, and I don't understand why it's still in my way. But don't worry about it. Next question. In what ways can professional decluttering enhance your career?
Ooh.
Now we're
That's like
talking
it's
about
different.
professional decluttering.
Well, I mean, just jumping onto that one. I mean, I'm going to tell you this. When you present yourself in an organized fashion in a business meeting, like last week, I brought in my fancy notebook to a one-on-one, and I had my pretty pen and my beautiful notebook, and my clothing was, you know, it's not just your possessions, it's also your wardrobe. Okay. That's part of the clutter too, is it not? Right. It's also how you accessorize yourself, how you present yourself to the world, how you put the puzzle pieces of your personal image together, because your personal image can also be cluttered too, potentially. So I think when you do present a polished, organized image, the people that are listening to you, that are on the other side of the table, are going to listen to you just a little bit more. And they're going to respect your opinion just a little bit more. And they're going to potentially buy into whatever it is you're recommending more. So I think professional decluttering can make or break your career.
Wow.
Patrice, what do you got on that one? I want to hear that. Patrice is frozen tonight. She looks good though.
Mhm.
Can you guys hear me now?
Yeah,
We
what
can
I
hear
need
you
for you
now.
to do, what I need for you people, there's Patrice. Yes,
Yes.
Patrice. But if you go off video,
Okay.
it'll be easier to talk. And it's the same with you for Dr. Dan, because I'm getting a lot of
Okay.
people saying you
All right.
guys can't be.
Okay.
Go ahead, Patrice.
So I did want to touch on the question. Okay, I did want to touch on the question that I couldn't answer earlier, as far as the physicality of decluttering. And I have to say this. I lost my husband in 2017. And I remember going first time after he passed. And I called it shedding. For some reason, as soon as I opened the door and went in, I had to immediately clear the space of medicine, everything that reminded me that he was sick, all the visuals that were lying around the house. I went in, and I know I looked crazy to my mother, but I went in and I immediately got a bag and I just started throwing the medication, I mean, with a whole arm swap into the bag, taking out these items that were mentally embedded in my head and that were relating to why he wasn't here anymore. At the time, the best I could describe it was shedding. And I know that everybody comes back differently from situations like that. But medical clutter that was in that house had to go within the hour I was there. So the business of getting rid of things to clear your mind and to help clear your thinking so that you can prepare to move forward was extremely important. And as somebody said earlier, it being a practice of decluttering, it took years for me to get to the point to where naturally I knew exactly what to do to move ahead of something that I needed to get past. I keep a big, gigantic leaf bag in my bedroom, and that's for goodwill. As I go along, if I put on something that's too big or too small, immediately it goes into the bag. So to see that bag in my room instead of, oh, I need to declutter my closet, oh, I need a leaf bag, I got to go to the store, and no, it's already there. So I see it, it's there, it goes in the bag. And that's with every aspect of my house. Everything has to have a home. The toothpicks have to have a home. The bobby pins have to have a home. So when I go into straightening up mode, because now I don't have to clean the house, I straighten up. And it only takes me minutes to go room to room to do that. So giving things a name. Oh, I need to take this home. You go in this drawer. This is where you belong. Having that leaf bag in the room helps. So those are the physical things that I had to do to start the declutter.
Oh, that is so. I'm like, first of all, I want to hire you, Patrice, to come to my house. My husband's going to be in love with you because he's like, but like, no, that really inspired me. Just the way that you said, and I'm writing it, Patrice's tips, everything has a home. That really was emotional for me. Like and then you went like, I don't clean anymore. I'm straightening. And I have a 7-year-old. So I'm always, not always perfect as a mom yelling. Like, clean that room. But now I'm going to be like, hey, let's go get everybody in their home because she's got the Barbies and she's got the stuff. No, seriously, I love that. And her hair and her thing. You just, bam, I'm like, thank you, show over. Like, I gotta, no, it's beautiful. I love that. Everything has a home, and it doesn't feel like cleaning. And I am gonna have that bag in there in my closet. And that's hot. That is hot.
The leaf bag.
I know.
We go to Andres about in what ways can professional decluttering enhance your career?
Yeah, I think what do you know how they say how we feel on the inside portrays on the outside, right? It's an extension of us on the outside, it's projection, right? So what if we take that same idea and like how our home and our rooms are on the inside is the way we project ourselves to the outside world, right? And so I feel like the more cleaner things can be, the more professionally you're going to come across. I think someone was mentioning something like that earlier. And I feel like it's very true, you know, when you have your stuff together and you have your stuff together in your house and your place, when you show up for business, guess what? You're going to show up with your stuff together. You know what I'm saying? That's the whole point. The whole point is that you not only do you want to come across professionally, but you're already practicing that at home. So I'm not saying you have to be professional at all hours, but if you're going to be a pro, right, then do it at home with your cleaning tactics too, right? Do it on the road or do it in the meeting and be a pro wherever you go. That's what I have for that one.
Wow. So what I got from that is private practice determines public performance.
Yeah, exactly. That's perfect. Exactly. I love that.
Got you. Doc, thank you so much for that. Dr. Dan.
Oh, wait, hold on. Before you go, Dr. Dan, please go. Patrice sounded awesome. So go off camera so we can hear you really well. Thank you.
Okay, so professional decluttering, and I think that's probably if you're very sure on the things that you were that you're so often because you know focus on little are trying to complement your dish, which is your professionally. It clutters. Sometimes that we try to accessorize with will clutter the main, and so it gets muddled. And when it comes to scaling up, you know exactly what is that, you know, 6-figure skills and a personal practice, precise. Like you have to hone your edge, but you can't like kind of sharpen your blade. It comes down to using it of jeopardizing your livelihood, because to look up, not put your forward, and have that be a part of your reputation. So makes it very on what you want to keep and be passed.
All right,
I
sis,
like
what do you
that.
get on that one?
I like that. All the accessories that we're doing distracts us from our main focus. So be clear. Clarity is a part of decluttering. When you declutter things, you can see stuff. You can see where things belong. Everything has a place and a place for everything. Who said that? That's some old people. Sorry. That's an old saying, though. I know. I'm just hating myself. Don't worry about it.
But that's a lot like what Patrice was saying, right? You know, earlier. We've got, you know, this time is flying by, sis, and I really feel like that last question might take a lot of this time with these extraordinary panelists, where you were saying.
Before we go to that, can we go? Yeah. Before we go there, I didn't hear no talk about relationships. Like, are y'all playing it safe? I look at every single one of you, all these Hollywood squares, and I don't see nobody that plays it safe. I know Patrice doesn't. I know Blanca doesn't. And I know Dr. Dan doesn't. Andres, because by association with my sister, you are guilty by association. So I know you don't either. So we're going to step on a little bit of toes here. And since time is running out, I want to hear how you declutter a relationship, whether that's intimate, business, I don't care what it is. Can we talk about that? Because some of y'all out there in TV land, I'm not in a relationship, romantic, so I can talk about that all day. I can be like, woo, y'all out there in TV land. Blanca, take it. Let's hear what you got to say, my sister.
That is a great question. Well, I'd have to give a shout out to Sunny, who taught me a lot on the Laws of Meditation show about this. In relationships, I think that language is everything. Language is everything. And what we say to one another in a romantic relationship is everything. And what we don't say to each other. So it's really, really important. And one of the biggest things is, keeping your word. Like if you say you're going to call me back in 10 minutes, call me back in 10 minutes. If you don't call me back in 10 minutes when you say you do, then I'm going to call you on it and I'm going to clear the clutter. And I'm going to say, please keep your word, because if you don't, it's a problem. So I call these rules of engagement. If you're going to be monogamous, then be monogamous, right? If you're going to be somewhere, be somewhere. But then it's also the language, when you talk about the future, be careful, because you're making promises when you talk about the future. So I think that you have to sort of be really careful about how you talk to one another. And so I'm really conscious of that in a relationship. And so that's where the clutter lies for me. And also getting better at saying no, getting better at not tolerating, because what you tolerate, what you don't respond to, you allow. So if somebody is rude to you, you're telling them that that's okay. If someone talks about, like, for example, I don't want to hear about someone's ex-girlfriends. Maybe for the first week, okay, but then after that, I don't want to talk about it anymore. Then I say, okay, all right, we've told the stories, we've told the sad stories. Now let's just talk about the future. So everybody has their own decluttering philosophy. I have mine, but I think the key is get your own decluttering rules of engagement in the relationship down and then honor them. And you'll feel good.
I like that. Patrice, what you got? What you got in relationships?
Come off camera if you need to.
All right. So, Patrice, hold on to what you're going to say. We're going to jump over to Andreas.
Okay.
Can y'all hear
Okay.
me now?
And
Patrice, you got to go off camera, girl. You got to go off camera. You and Dr. Dan have to be off camera when you talk.
All right, Patrice, if you can hear me, we're going to come back to you. We're going to go to Andreas, okay? I'm yelling like that's going to make a difference. Really, I just heard myself. It's like, why am I yelling? Sorry.
No, all good.
Go ahead.
Yeah. That was a good question. I really love to pivot on that question. And right now I find myself in a great relationship and where there is a balance, right? And when it comes to the clutter, I really love what we were talking about, because you kind of, it goes back to when we were mentioning how you can get tripped up easily by having clutter. Well, I feel like you can trip each other up in relationships easily with having clutter. And I don't necessarily mean physically, like we were talking about in the conversation, in mindset and ideas, the rules of engagement. I really love that concept, right? Because I'm a veteran, so we have rules of engagement, right? We understand. She actually comes from an army family, or her parents were in the military, and so she kind of has that background, right? And so we want to use the rule of engagement, and I think relationships need that, right? So the clutter in the relationship doesn't always need to be physical, right? Yeah, you want a clean space, but it also can be all the small things that we don't talk about and go and they become maybe avoided. And so getting that up to the surface, and being able to cut through some of that, and really talk about the deep stuff, right, that we don't always want to talk about. And I think that's important in relationships. And I really love, like I said, that rules of engagement, because how you operate in your relationship intimately is also going to show how you operate outside of that, not necessarily intimately, because that's just a different kind of intimacy that we're talking about, but just the way you conduct yourself, right? And so the same way that you can conduct yourself within a relationship that has a lot more rules of engagement outside of that with other friendships, right? So the decluttering portion really comes from being able to open up and discuss the hard stuff. And that way you clear the path for one another, and you're able to kind of move forward with whatever shared goals you have, right? Especially going into the new year.
Absolutely. You and Blanca are on that same page as far as
I definitely
communication. Definitely communication is important. Patrice, you want to jump in relationships and decluttering?
Give it a sec.
We can't hear you if you're talking. We see the smile. That's so awesome.
Yeah, I just know between her and Dr. Dan, when they go off camera, it works. We can hear them.
Are you waiting for me to talk?
All right, let's jump to Dan. Dr.
Yep. We just need you to go off camera, Patrice, so you could talk. Just turn your camera off so we can hear you.
That's so funny. Take away our visual so we can use our auditory. All right, let's jump to Dr. Dan. We're going to come back to you, Patrice. Am I yelling again, y'all? It's a New York thing. Sorry.
Yeah, just come off camera, Dr. Dan. You too. There you go.
Yes. Okay.
Language. Use language.
Okay, so decluttering in relationships. So one thing I'm a huge fan of is reducing things to the lowest common denominator. And I think about what it would be the most impactful thing that I could do. And I realized that the most common denominator in every kind of relationship, whether it be intimate, professional, personal, associative, is conduct, behavior, the way that we declutter our the way that we handle different emotions. Like decluttering can be like creating pathways on reactionary behavior, because a lot of the time blinds come up when we least expect it. So it brings awareness to those corners, and it gives you an opportunity to stay still and look at all these blind spots. So I always work on like my conduct, how I'm doing, like knowing boundaries too, and like still knowing how to work with different personality types, different needs, but at the same time not compromising my well-being, which is created because I'm going to be ruminating on that. I should have said something, those unsaid words. I should have stood up and held my ground, or stepped aside and kept it to myself. I always think about that, because that's it's me.
All right, Patrice. We know Dr. Dan gets in trouble now. He's like, yeah, right. Patrice, can you hear us?
Yes.
Okay,
yeah, going in and out, but I can hear. Okay, I'll turn the.
Yeah. Okay.
Go.
So tell us your take on relationships and much better. Tell us your take on relationships and decluttering.
So the first thing I think about as far as decluttering a relationship is how it is set up. How did the two of you set up the priorities of that relationship? Loyalty is a big thing to me, but what is it with another guy? It becomes something else whenever you add another person in. So for instance, the relationship that I am in now, 4+ years, the main priority in this relationship that we've decided together is respect being number one. You can love a whole bunch of people. You can love some people you ain't supposed to love. So that's why love is not number one. But respect, I have to be able to respect how he is living his life, how he is spending the majority of his lifetime, is going to cause a woman to respect a man. And vice versa. Vice versa. Does he respect what she is doing? So we've built levels. We have respect, loyalty is mixed up in there, and then love does come in. But love is not the thing that holds us together. Purpose is. So purpose would be, I would say, number two. What are you doing together? It's as if somebody caught you in the room with somebody. Hey, what y'all doing in here? Like, what are you doing together as far as the world or mankind? What part are you playing together that would, if somebody walked up to you and say, why do you guys make sense? Because we have a purpose, we have a love for mankind, and we would love to do and serve mankind. So that's an example of a purpose of what you guys are doing together. And that purpose becomes the glue. So when I think of decluttering a relationship, I go through the levels of, do I still have the same respect that I had for him when we started this relationship together? Because if you notice, if you have respect for somebody, you watch your mouth, you think about what you say before you say it to them, you put yourself in their shoes. You know, my mother always told me, before you ask a man to do anything around the house that he has not done, and you keep asking him to do it, to keep from being a nag, why don't you say 5 good things that he has done? And then go into what he hasn't. Well, honey, you know, da 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 da. One perfect example I use to get stuff done around my house, ladies. This is what I do. I'm giving out a secret.
Do it.
I wait till the proper time. I don't wait until his game is on. I don't wait until, you know, he's deeply into his work. I wait until the proper time, respect. And then I say, honey, I need to talk to you about something really quick. What have I done? Have I done anything to make you upset with me, or something that you think I shouldn't have did? I want to know my part in what I've done to lead us to a point to where you still haven't fixed the closet when you know I need it done. Obviously, I've done something. And I want to know what that is so I can fix it. Because I really need that closet done. I really need to put my dresses back on the pole that's hanging down. And I might have something to do with why you haven't done it yet. So please tell me so I can fix it. So that's one example that I do to get stuff done. It gets done immediately after that. No argument, no attitude, just all love. And it's because of respect that, you know, that happens. So decluttering the relationship is cleaning those levels. Let's start with our levels. What am I not respecting about him? Is it that he, you know, did something that, but that's what keeps us there, honestly, if you think about it, is respect. You know, so that's what I would say. Decluttering a relationship, I would go that route of organizing the levels that you two have built together, of the importance of why you.
I love it. I love it.
I love it. That's so big, Patrice, with regards to when you were saying the levels of the relationship. You notice that Patrice did not say love first. We kind of get wrapped up in that love, right? It's respect. And what's really powerful is the purpose. What is your purpose? What brought the two of you together? What are your purpose separately? And then the values and those beliefs of that purpose that keep you guys together as one, that have you move forward to serve one another and serve mankind. That was incredible. And then I couldn't help inside my head hearing, what's love got to do with it? But when she goes, what love is a secondhand emotion? I was like, Patrice is dropping it, right? Like we're dropping it because that it really is secondary. We get wrapped up in love. I love her. I love him. That's nice. You know, but it really is a purpose. That's nice, right? We love a lot of people, but like love isn't it. So thank you for reminding that for me inside a 13-year marriage and 15 years committed. Respect and our purpose. You just saved a lot of fights for me. Thank you.
Yeah, you totally inspired me, Patrice. That was amazing. You were dropping diamonds. You lit me up with that one, with the purpose, bringing two people together. You should write a whole blog article on that.
A book.
That is profound.
A play, a movie. Okay.
Wow. So in the
Years.
time that we don't have left.
Now, it took years.
That was
in
a
the
sign
time
of
that we
maturity.
don't have left, sis, what's the one last question that you want to ask? And if you can just one response to it.
Ooh,
What's the question?
The question really is going to be, so we've got, what is that unseen, like uncommunicated, like that needs to be decluttered? It could be different for each one of you, but what is that one unseen, unspoken, what we have not talked about tonight? And you got less than 15 seconds. Patrice, go off camera. You go first.
Oh Lord, the unseen. Spirituality for me. Because I know the order of which we were designed. You know, we are a spirit in a body with a soul. So the first thing I'm going to say is the unseen would be that. We are supposed to be taking our cues from the spirit because the spirit came from God. So of course he's going to tell you all the good stuff to do, but then it has to filter through the soul, which is who you really are. And then the soul tells the body. So with that level of organization and how we're created, always go back to the beginning, how you were created, how you are processing things, how you receive things. Always go to the manufacturer of you, who is the creator. He made you. Whenever your device stops working, you call the manufacturer, right? They're the only ones that really know how to fix it and can tell you right away. So because I know how I am as a human being, as a being itself, I know, I'm listening to the wrong. I'm supposed to be listening to the thing that is in me, talking to people up there that created me. And the soul is like, it won't do it because it feels good. Now what do I tell it? Tell it to them again. Soul is the one that can feel good. But at the same time, we ain't supposed to be doing that. The outcome is not good for us. So I was sorry, that wasn't quick.
Right.
That wasn't sorry. Don't you take back that sorry. That was like so good. So good. All right. Andres, take it from there. Boom. Pass it.
I'd say in the unseen, so I'm going to go with intuition. I want to have a clear vessel to be able to communicate clearly with the creator, right? So if I'm bogged down with unhealthy foods, if I'm drinking too much alcohol or smoking too much cannabis or too much nicotine or whatever, that I've done in the past and other people still do, then if your vessel's not clean, how are you really going to clearly communicate? And I feel like intuition is God's way of communicating with you. So we want to clear that path. We want to, declutter that path. We want to kind of open up ourselves to be able to receive. So intuition.
Spirit, intuition. Blanca, number 3.
Well, my goal is to clear the lack of trust. I have a lot of trauma from the past, so I'm hoping that I can just trust. And I keep wanting to ask questions that reflect lack of trust, and I've been stopping myself, trying to resist that urge. So I'm hoping that I can dissolve the lack of trust in 2024. That's my goal.
Right.
Mm.
Decluttering the
I love
lack
that.
of Trust. Thank you for sharing that
Absolutely.
goal. We'll hold you to that as your sacred, container and as sisters. And Dr. Dan, bring us home. We got spirit, we got intuition. Blanca is like really looking at decluttering, that lack of trust. Bam, to you.
Okay. Well, Andreas made a good point. It can be messy, right? And all of us, like Patrice said, have that spirit within our body and a soul. And we also have an inner child that is kind of like a spiritual vessel that continues with us. And in my practice, I remind people that our inner child is the oldest version of ourselves and tends to be the wisest. And that which you see on the outside is the newest version of you. And every day is a new day. And so you're constantly reinventing. And so what I want to encourage people to do is to celebrate the little things. Celebrate the life of these objects that stand in your way, rather than demonizing them and making them some kind of negativity. Remember why they were there. And man, that purpose, give it a new purpose. Repurpose is what decluttering really is, because it continues on. You just don't have to look at it. And so, I'm feeling inspired. So I would say celebrate the little. That would be my number one thing. Celebrate the little things and pay things forward.
Repurpose. Celebrate
Wow,
repurposing.
I love that.
Oof, that's
You
good.
all
So
were
that means we're allowed to
so
keep stuff.
incredible. Yeah, you all were so incredible. And I was so excited for this. I'm excited for every show, but more excited for this one because we can clearly say you guys are our first panelists for a panel discussion, and you guys were phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. You shared from the heart, and we could feel that. So thank you for not coming on here being pretentious, since our tagline is real talk, real actions, real results. If you were being pretentious, we'd have cut you off. I'd have signaled Kirill, our tremendous engineer. I'm like, cut them off. They got to go, because we don't do that here. But you guys were awesome. Each and every single one of you. Thank you for taking time from your busy, busy schedules, because each of you are super busy, to join us, Reg and I, here on Rise and Thrive Together, and to share authentically, genuinely, and being transparent and vulnerable with our audience on decluttering your life. We do truly appreciate it. And I want to say this to our listening audience in the time that we do not have left. You know when you need to declutter. Whether that is your professional life, your personal life, whatever it is. I make it seem like there's only two, but you know when it's time to declutter. So stop playing games. Stop holding on to things that you know are no longer serving you. It is time to open your hand and set things free. And not because it's the end of 2023. It could have been January 1st of 2023. But when things are no longer serving you, the end of the year doesn't matter. You need to let those things go. People come into your life for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. Stop making people a lifetime who were only there for a reason or a season. It's time for us to distinguish the difference for our own benefit and ourselves. Appreciate that person, place, or thing for coming into your life. And when you know it's time to let it go, let it go. Can you do that for yourself? Not for us, because each and every single one of us in these Hollywood squares here, like we the Brady Bunch, we have our own stuff that we deal with and have to declutter. We are not perfect, but by gosh, we are trying. We are not even trying. Let me not say trying. We are acting and we are doing. Do you get that? So again, I appreciate all of you so much. Thank you. We thank you. We thank you. We thank you. And remember, to our listening audience, together we can rise and thrive. Till next time.